hark, the bell of 7 is sounding. It's time for Kids Chant, the fourth Sunday of Advent. So we're looking at this Sunday's Gospel reading. Okay, so as we've been doing before, let's see, the fourth Sunday of Advent. So it's getting really close to Christmas, and what else can I say? Okay, we'll dive into the picture. It's very similar to last week's. I've said that before, haven't I? But this one, first of all, you had the end of the world sort of thing. Now we're focusing more on John the Baptist. So, Johannes Conscianator. Conscianator is a new word for me. It means John holds a meeting. So, there you go. That would be interesting. Conscianator. Okay. So, here we have John the Baptist in the middle, as you can see. And lots of different people. You can see soldiers on the right. Oh, there's even a soldier on the left as well. There's mothers with babies, and looks like there's a little bit of breastfeeding happening, which is wonderful from a breastfeeding counsellor point of view. Where is my light gone? It's not enough. Okay. Yeah, conflict of interest using this same room, but at least I got one bright light. Okay. You don't worry about the light, do you? You're interested in the Latin. Okay. So, yeah, there's a tree with the two trunks. That probably symbolises something, being a medieval picture. I wonder... Okay, let's get into this. You can see I've prepared diligently. First letter is A, up in the top. So you've got a little guy on horseback. Tiberius... How do you like Caesar pronounced? So if we're doing ecclesiastical Latin, it'll be Tiberius Caesar, which sounds really odd. We're used to Caesar. And... if you're German, then, you'd be familiar with Kaiser, and the restored classical pronunciation also goes in for Kaiser, which also sounds really cool. And because the ecclesiastical Latin would have been Latin as it was pronounced in later times, medievally sort of times, then how about I say Kaiser for this video, because I think it's cool. It'll make any classical Latin people happy, and I think Caesar sounds funny. Otherwise, I'll say Caesar. Okay, is everyone happy with Kaiser? All in favour say aye. All against say nay. Hey! Can't get any good help. I'm going with Kaiser because I'm the boss. Ha, 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 ha. B is just down here. Pontius Pilatus praeses Judaeae. Pontius Pilate, the governor, praeses. I like presidium, sub tuum presidium, under your patronage. Judaeae, of the Jews. Okay, let's find C. C, right over here, another guy on horseback. Herodes Antipas, tetrarcha Galiaeae. So, do you need that translated? Herod Antipas, tetrarch of Galilee. It's practically as we pronounce it in English. Okay, number D. D is another guy. D. There's D, another guy on horseback. So we got one, Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate, the leader of the Jews. I can't see a Pontius Pilate. Oh, there are people on horseback there. Okay. Yeah, Herod Antipas, and last one, Philippus Herodius. Philippus Herodis fratre tetrarcha Itúraeae. So there was a complicated system of government at the time, wasn't there? So, Philip, brother of Herod, Herodis frate, so frater is brother, tetrarcha Itúraeae, so tetrarch of Iturea. So tetrarch, so there's probably 3 of them, huh? No, 4, tetra is 4 in Greek. There you go. So we've got Herod Antipater, Philip, brother of Herod. Lysánias is number E. Oh, E is just up here. Another guy on horseback with another army. So, I guess this illustrates that things were complicated in Jerusalem at the time. Okay. Lysánias. Abilínae tetrarcha. So, tetrarch of Abilene. He suas provincias representat et potentiam. They represent their provinces and power. He suas provincias representant et potentiam. So now we get up to the actual action in what's actually happening. Now, where's the F? It's got to be with the high priests, and I think These ones on the right with the funny hats would be the high priests. I can see an H down here. So this just goes to show I should probably highlight the little letters in my book so it's easier to find them. I'm pretty happy some of these people with the funny hats will be high priests. Okay, there might be an F in there. Need a magnifying glass, don't I? Okay. Duo summi sacerdotes in templo. Oh, in templo, so it might be up here in the temple. You're right, there they are. 2 high priests in the temple. Dui summi sacerdotes in templo. I'm not sure what summi means, but sacerdotes is priests. G. Oh, up on the hill. Johannes in deserto et montanis Judaei concinato. John in the desert and the mountains of Judea has a meeting. There you go. So this is actually the same as this, isn't it? Wow. So you've got all this laid out, and then John in the desert, and then zoom in on John. There you go. So here's the zoom in on John bit. H. Ah, okay, that's why we could only see an H here. Concinato diende ad Betabara sive Betania trans Jordánem, et turbas ad bene et pie vivendum instituit. So thereafter, he holds a meeting, concinato again. Diende is there, or thereafter. Ad Betabara sive Betania, in Bethabara or Bethania. Trans Jordánem, across the river. Et turbas, the crowds. Et bene et pie vivendum instituit, and teaches the crowds to live well and piously. Bene et pie. Bene is good, pie is piously. This is sort of like lovingly, or it's to do with the virtue of justice. Okay, we won't get on to the different virtues, but that is all of the words for this week's illustration from the really old Illustrations of the Gospel by Jerome Nadal. There you go. So put that bookmark back in. Now on to the Gospel readings. It's a nice short Gospel, so everyone can see that? Okay. Anno quintodécimo, impérii Tibérii Caésaris. I'll go with Kaiser. Okay. I'm not used to Kaiser. Anno quintodécimo. Quintodécimo is 5 is quinto, and decimo is 10th, so it's the 5 and 10th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar. Procuránte Póntio Piláto Judaéam, and the procurator is Pontius Pilate of the Jews. No, Judaéam? Being governor of Judea. But if it's of Judea, it would be Judaeae. Anyway, tetrárcha autem Galiaeae Heróde. The tetrarch of Galilee being Herod. Philíppo autem fratre ejus tetrarcha Itúraeae, so tetrarch of Itúraeae. And Trachonítidis regiónis et Lysánias Abilínae tetrarcha. So Lysánias is the tetrarch of Abilínae in the region of Trachonítidis. Sub principibus sacerdótum, under the high, or the first sacerdotums, the priests, Anno et Cáipha. Factum est verbum, made is the word, Dómini of the Lord, super Joánnem, on John. Zacharíae fílium, son of Zachary, in desérto, in the wilderness. Okay, so big list of names. Setting the scene. This actually happened in time. It wasn't just made up once upon a time. It was at this time. Et venit in omnem regiónem Jordánis. And he comes in all the region of the Jordan, praédicans baptísmum penitentiae, preaching the baptism of penance in remissionem peccatorum, which we hear a lot in Catholic circles because it's the remission of sins, which we're really big on. That's remit all the sins because you need to confess and all that. Anyway, sicut scriptum est in libro sermonum Isaiae prophetae, just as it is written in the scriptures. Sicut scriptum est, as scriptum est is written in libro, in the book of the sermons of the words of Isaiah the prophet, or Isaias the prophet, if you like the Latin. Vox clamantis in deserto, like last week, a voice of one crying in the desert, parate viam Dómini, prepare the way of the Lord. Rectas facite semitas ejus. So rectus, you know, when you're doing rectangles, they're all straight. Yep. At right angles, everything's all square. So make, facite is make. Fac is one person make. Facite is everybody make, or you, plural, make. Semitas ejus. Semitas, I found out, because I actually did some research, like I was looking things up. So we have vias, you've got viam here, and you've got semitas here. So viam is a way, like a big, broad way, and semitas is like the opposite, a narrow way, like a footpath. So you got prepare the way of the Lord, prepare the highway of the Lord, make his paths straight. Omnis valis implebitur. And if everyone's familiar with Handel's Messiah, this is one of those, every valley shall be exalted, and all that sort of stuff. So I always get that in the brain because I grew up with the Messiah on tap. Okay, omnis valis implebitur. So you remember planos, full. So all the valleys will be filled up, and omnis mons, the mountain, and colis is the hills, humiliabitur, will be laid low, so flattened out. Humiliabitur, because it also has to do with humility. It also teaches us this, is going to be like a, anyway, in hindsight, we see we're not actually doing a whole lot of land works here, we're doing soul works, like work for preparing our hearts. Et erunt prava indirecta, and all the crooked will be straight, directa, direct way. Yes, St. John Vianney was asked, how should I get to heaven? And he said, straight, like a bullet or like a cannonball or something like that. Just go straight to heaven. Et aspera in vias planas. Aspera. Have you heard of the phrase astra per aspera? To the stars through roughness, which doesn't, or another English translation is to the stars through bolts and bars. So all this bitter stuff will happen. Yeah, so all the rough things in vias, et aspera in vias planas. So the rough ways will be plain. Et videbit, and will be seen omnis caro, so all flesh will see salutare Dei, the salvation of God. So there you go. That is the gospel in Latin today. That was really quick. Okay, so we've practically went through. You can read through the English. You probably know it off by heart, don't you? Everyone knows this one? Anyway, we're getting all excited about it. About Christmas coming up. Okay, the handwriting worksheet. I have forgotten to download this already, so here we go. View, get rid of the side pane and make this bigger. There we go. Parate viam, prepare ye the way, Dómini, of the Lord. Rectas facite, make straight, semitas ejus, his paths. Omnis vallis, every valley, implebitur, shall be filled, et omnis mons, every mountain, et colis, and hill, humiliabitur, shall be brought low, et prava, and the crooked, erunt, shall be made indirecta, straight, et aspera, in vias, and the rough ways, planas, plain. So I think I only had to move one word around in the Latin that time. So it was almost straight. See, the Vulgate Latin is really easy. Do not fear the Vulgate Latin. So that's the handwriting thing. The crossword puzzle. I also did this on a different computer, so here we go. Make this big. You can see the numbers are not in order again. You've got a 15 over here. It should be a 1, 2, 3, but I haven't reordered them. I've been doing other stuff lately. You know, everyone gets busy coming up for Christmas, don't you? So there's the clues. So I had a thought this time. Yeah, the answers are on the next page, so don't look at the answers, just have a look. What you want to do is have a look at the gospel reading. So we've also got the web page that we've just read through, and also made a nice, easy print A4 page. I'm sure it works on letter paper as well for those in the US. Okay, so we've got handwriting worksheet, crossword puzzle, and the to read thing. Now, the next thing I was wondering, does Quizlet help? Has everyone seen Quizlet before? So Quizlet it comes up by default as a matching game, where you start the game and then Vox Clamantis is crying, Anno is year, or in the year, crooked is prava, rough, aspera, hill, colis. Haha! Can you beat my time? 9 seconds. Okay, but you can also go down here and choose a study mode, and actually learn. Welcome to learn. Maybe learn isn't quite so easy. It's like a multiple choice thing. Or flashcards is the one I was thinking of, where you have this
word.
Oh no. Click card to see term, verbum. It's not so bad. It doesn't pronounce the Latin. It only pronounces the English, and the Latin is the thing you're focusing on. Anyway, yes, so Quizlet is another thing for learning vocabulary. You can also go to the actual, view the study set online and make flashcards. You can print it. Learn, write, spell. It's somewhere. Share, edit. View class progress, customize. Here is print. So triple dots, print. I like printing them as small cards like this. So then I haven't got double-sided printing selected, but then it will come up with a thing like this. So you can print this out and fold it in half and cut out each one to make flashcards for yourself. And yeah, it's a really nice way to make flashcards if that's what you want to do to build up your Latin vocabulary. Okay, so going back to Kids Chant. What else? A lot of questions came up about how to learn Latin lately, and so I started another thing, the rest of Kids Chant. I was going to make the webpage for learning more about Gregorian chant, which I love, but I sort of got sidetracked with the Latin stuff. I've been doing Latin by the natural method, which is an old book. Yeah, I haven't got my printouts. I printed it, took the other stuff. Anyway, yeah, but this is the one I've really, really enjoyed lately. But we also have other Latin stuff. We got Catholic's Latin Instructor, which I got reprinted through Lulu. They have a special on at the moment. If you use the code WINTER15, you get 15% off your orders at Lulu. I mean, I don't want this to sound like a big... Then also the other one I did was Elements of Latin by Benjamin Duge. Benjamin Duge is famous for Keys to Latin, I think, which is on Project Gutenberg. But after he did Keys to Latin, he did this Elements of Latin, which is kind of a bit more streamlined, and it has more pictures, and yeah, I've had it. It actually goes through less vocabulary, but because all these sort of classical texts focus on the vocabulary you need to read Caesar's Gallic Wars, and you know, whenever I'm looking at one of these textbooks and it's talking about all these battles and stuff, it just, look, I'm doing this so I can read the Bible. Pretty much. That's my preoccupation in life, is prayers and Bible readings and stuff. So actually having less vocabulary is kind of good, but you would want to team it with something like Catholic's Latin Instructor to get your Catholic vocabulary. Yeah, you still need vocabulary, you still need that immersion, but this is great for explaining vocabulary. Grammar. And it also has a key to Elements of Latin. So I've got the links to both of them, an answer key. The answer key is just a little paperback. I couldn't find it this morning, but yeah. So that's the textbook, which is spiral bound and very handy to use. So you can do the exercises and then you get a grasp for Latin. And the last book I wanted to pick up, because it was on my bookshelf, is Reggie Foster's book, Ossa Lenitatis Sola, The Mere Bones of Latin. This is an enormous book, but I was really excited about it coming out because, yeah, I was reading one of his students put up all these notes from one of his classes. All these classes are really, really highly recommended by everyone who's done them. And, yeah, he focuses, he's really solid on understanding the grammar, but making it really possible and having so many examples of Latin. So, again, he's doing all different sorts of Latin, actually. So the classical Latin is really interesting, and the Vulgate Latin that we've been doing here is really kind of, it's made to be understood. The Church put everything in Latin to make it easy to understand, not to make it hidden. So, yeah, Vulgate Latin is really good, very easy to understand. So that's why I'm able to do this, even though I haven't had a very strong schooling in Latin. But if you want to go more into it, it's really interesting to read more about it. So I thought that was relevant to anyone, and yeah, you guys, if you're tuning in, you're probably interested in Latin. So that can be found on the webpage. So yeah, Latin by the Catholic's Latin Instructor. yeah, I think that's it. So that's a bit more than what I was going to talk about. I think that's it. There's no questions. I haven't seen any chat come up. So, yeah, thanks for watching. And, yeah, have a great Advent. Have a great Christmas. Yes, because I won't see you till after Christmas. Woohoo. Man, see what we all feel like after Christmas. It's going to be huge. We've got, but some boys doing the midnight mass and people doing the dawn mass and people flying all over the place. I'm set for the day mass at Lawson. The numbers permitted at Lawson have been raised from 24 to 48, so if you'd like to book in, I guess you can message me if you're in the Blue Mountains area. But we're going to have an awesome 11 a.m. Mass. My mother's coming up to sing in the choir. It's also usually not very well attended because 11 a.m. is when everyone's having their Christmas parties. It is usually really, 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 really quiet. So I'm not sure what to expect this year because, everyone's sort of had to go all over the place to get to Mass because of numbers being so reduced. Okay, yes, I should wrap this up. Thank you, everybody. It's time to get on with the day. Have a great time. Like and subscribe if you want. And I'll see you after Christmas. Yay!